Hello, this is Ludwig from Phasio, and in this video we're going to talk about lead times in the Phasio platform. So before we were speaking about a part and how to get to the price, and now another question that's pretty important is when can we deliver those parts, right? And essentially next to the unit price on the Phasio platform you can calculate the dispatch date. And the dispatch date means on which day, given the part and everything and the quantity, can I send these parts out? So on which day can I give these parts to DHL or UPS or FedEx or whatnot to send them to the customer? So let's take a look at how to calculate this, right? And there are a few ingredients. The first one we refer to as a buffer. Then there are two durations. Oops, that's not how you spell duration. Two durations. And one is for the process and one is for the post-process. And that calculates the dispatch date from the day that a quote converted to an order or from the day that someone paid online and thus an order is created. So let's go into detail of these two different or three different components. The buffer, that's actually something that's a global manufacturing buffer. And you could have values like fast. And second could be something like standard. And there could be a third one that's called economical, for example, right? And with fast, the buffer that you define for yourself could be something like 2 days, right? And with standard, the buffer that you define could be something like, 5 days, right? And this is basically the buffer that you give yourself to start this order, to start manufacturing this order. Because the second part, the durations, this is actually part of the equations. So the equations where we calculate price, the unit price, you can also calculate how much time do I possibly need to create these parts. And that is here. So that would be under process and also under post-process. And why do we calculate a duration? It's like all the information is there. In your process and your post-process, you know what quantity is ordered. So we go in quantity. You also know what the specification of the part is. So we know the specification. And within the specification, we can calculate the complexity of the part. We see, for example, in the technology and the material, is there anything that we need more time for? And you can basically estimate how many hours will this take to produce. So that would essentially maybe say just like 24 hours, right? Which is 1 day. So if then someone chooses the fast option, and from my calculation, I get that I estimate the time that it takes to manufacture this to be 24 hours, then you would end up in total with 3 days. And 3 days, once this is ordered, can be then mapped onto a calendar, which could exclude weekends, for example, or public holidays in your local country. And then you can get from that duration to a dispatch date. Please note that this doesn't mean dispatch on, but rather dispatch by. So by that time is the latest time that this will be dispatched to our logistics company, right? And also another note on this, what this enables you to do is to create the following for your clients. So here you have the quantity, 1, 5, 10, 20, 100, for example, right? And then here you'd have something like fast, and in our case, there would also be standard. And you can, for each of these quantities, not only put price in there, right? Which could be, for example, a euro value, but you can also say, for one part in fast, what we just now calculated, it's actually 3 days, right? And today is Monday the 28th, so that could be out by August, for example, right? And this is how you get basically the combination of price and dates as a function of quantity, so that you can be as transparent as possible for your manufacturers. And if you are having the factory floor feature on the Phasio platform, well then we will even be able to tell you when to start manufacturing a certain part to meet those deadlines. And this is how the notion of lead time works on the Phasio platform. If you want to learn more, there are more follow-up videos on how to create this on the Phasio platform. I hope to see you there soon. Bye-bye.